Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to our online learning initiative Ekalaiva. Today we are going to discuss the magnetic dipole moment of a revolving electron. Our topic is the magnetic dipole moment of a revolving electron. According to Bohr model, the electron, which revolves around a positively charged nucleus, that is, let us consider this is electron which carries negative charge, revolves around the positively charged nucleus. So this is nucleus. Around that is electrons are revolving around the positively charged nucleus, which is similar to that of planets revolves around the sun. Actually, we know that electrons which carries negative charge. Okay. So here, whenever the electrons, that is when it revolves around the nucleus, the force is the electrostatic force, because we have learnt about this in our first chapter itself. That is Coulomb force, okay, which are responsible for that. Similarly, we can say that the planets revolves around the sun, which is due to gravitational force, right? So now we are going to consider, we know that what is the electron of charge, its value is actually, we know that since it carries negatively charged, we are going to write the charge of the electron as what is the charge of the electron, children? It is magnitude, whose magnitude is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. Okay, and this electron which revolves around the nucleus but in a uniform circular motion. Okay, and this is the stationary nucleus whose charge is Ze. Okay, so nucleus, charge of nucleus. Is plus Ze. Okay, and this constitutes a current. Okay, so we know the formula that I is equal to charge by time. So we are going to take E by T. Okay, what is this T here? T is nothing but the time period of revolution. So I'm going to write here T be the time period of revolution. Okay. Time period of revolution. Okay. And what is this R? R be the radius of the electron. Okay. And V be the orbital speed. This is again very important, children. V be the orbital speed. Okay. And we know that how can you calculate the time period? Normally velocity is equal to distance by time. So here the distance will be taken as 2 pi r. Okay. So can we write T is equal to time period is equal to 2 pi r divided by v. Yes. So I'm going to substitute the value of that is the expression for this time period in this equation. So I will get I is equal to, substitute it here children, E divided by, so 2 pi r divided by V you will substitute. So this will become EV divided by 2 pi r. Okay. Actually, we know that we have learned in the previous topics that what is magnetic moment. Magnetic moment is equal to, hope you all of you remember this, M is equal to IA. Okay, so magnetic moment, IM is equal to IA, where I be the current, steady current, and A be the area vector. Normally, that orbital magnetic moment will be represented by mu L. Okay, so that is, there will be a magnetic moment and which is associated with this circulating current. Okay, the magnitude of this magnetic moment is magnitude of magnetic moment of circulating current. Circulating current, here that is electrons, right? Circulating current is mu L divided by IA, correct? So I, what is A here children? IA is nothing but, A is nothing but pi r square. So I'm going to substitute it here now. So if I substitute mu L is equal to, for I am going to write EV divided by 2 pi r. Then pi r square. So into pi r square. So this pi and pi get cancelled. R and R get cancelled. So I will get EVR divided by 2. Okay. This is very, very important children. Remember this, mu L is equal to, that is magnetic moment is equal to orbital magnetic momentum. Okay, so this is very, very important here. EVR divided by 2. Okay, so I'll write here again is equal to, mu L is equal to EVR divided by 2. Okay, the direction of this magnetic moment is into the plane of the paper. Actually, this follows the right hand rule, because since electrons, they carry negatively charged, the negatively charged electrons is moving anti-clockwise, and which leads to clockwise current. Okay, now what we are going to do here, we are going to multiply and divide this equation by ME. Okay, so multiply and divide by ME, that is mass of the electron. So mu L is equal to, can we write it as E divided by 2ME, and we are going to take this R. What is this ME? I told you, mass of an electron. Okay, so this is very, very important children. Okay, now we are going to see what is this L, which is nothing but that is MEVR will be replaced by actually this M, that is mass of an electron, velocity into radius will be taken as L. What is this L? Which is the magnitude of angular momentum. Okay, this is magnitude of angular momentum of the electron about the central nucleus. About the central nucleus. Okay. So we can also say orbital angular momentum. So I'm going to write this mu L. So in vector form also we can write this. Okay. So mu L, this is the vector, is equal to E minus. I'll tell you what is the significance of this negative sign here. M E L. Okay, actually the negative sign which indicates that the angular momentum of the electron is opposite in direction to the magnetic moment. So what is the significance of the negative sign? The negative sign indicates that the angular momentum of the electron is opposite in direction to the magnetic moment. Okay. Now let us assume if instead of electron, if we have any particle with charge plus q, then what will happen? The angular momentum and the magnetic moment would be in the same direction. Since here the electron which carries negative charge, the angular momentum of the electron is opposite to the magnetic moment. If we have the particle with positive charge, then both the angular momentum and magnetic moment would be in the same direction. Now, we are going to write again very important thing. One is here, children. I'm going to, that is the ratio. So, the ratio, that is mu L. We know that what is mu L and what is L, right? Is equal to E by 2me. This ratio is very, very important, children, which is called as gyromagnetic ratio. Okay, gyromagnetic ratio. This is very important and it is constant. Okay, so you know that what is mu L and what is L. Okay, so what is mu L and L? We know very well that what is L? L is the magnitude of the angular momentum. Okay, magnitude of the angular momentum, we know that. Okay, so this ratio is very, very important, children, and the value, we can substitute the value of E and ME, that is E is equal to 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 and ME is equal to 9.11 into 10 power minus 31 mass of the electron. So you will get this gyromagnetic ratio value, and whose value is mu L by L is equal to 8.8 into 10 power 10 coulomb per kilogram. Okay, this is very important, children. This is for an electron. Actually, we can also understand even at an atomic level there is a magnetic moment. Okay, so we can also explain the magnetic properties of materials. Okay, actually Bohr hypothesized that the angular momentum assumes a discrete set of values. So I'm going to explain about the Bohr's quantization condition, but you will be learning about this only in your 12th chapter, that is in second volume, but I'm going to give you some details about this now. So we are going to write what is this L. That is L is equal to this is what given by Bohr, NH divided by 2 pi. Okay, what is this H? H is nothing but the Planck's constant and N be the natural number. So N is a natural number. We can write N is equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. H, Planck's constant. Okay, H is a constant. Okay, and this condition of discreteness, which is called as Bohr's quantization condition, that is L is equal to NH by 2 pi. Okay, what is the value of H also? I'll write here 6.626 into 10 power minus 34 joule second. This condition of discreteness, condition of discreteness is called Bohr quantization condition. We will learn about this in our 12th chapter in detail. Okay, so now if we consider if n is equal to 1, okay, so here we are going to take n is equal to 1. So if n is equal to 1, then we are going to write what is mu L. Okay, that is this is equal to, that is minimum value is equal to so already we know that E divided by two M E, right? So for L you are going to substitute NH by 2 pi. So if N is equal to 1, what will you get, children? E divided by 4 pi ME into H. So now we are going to substitute all the values here. So I will get E 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. Then H 6.634 into 10 power minus 34. Okay. Okay, let us take only 2 digits. That will be easy for us. So 4 into 3.14 into 9.11 into mass of the electron minus 31. When you calculate this, you will get 9.27 into 10 power minus 24 ampere meter squared. Okay, so I told you that this is nothing but minimum. Okay, this value is called Bohr magneton. So this value, whatever we got it, so this value is known as Bohr magneton. Okay, because since this is according to Bohr's quantization condition, Bohr magneton. Okay, so we did two things here. One is gyromagnetic ratio and the other one is this one. Okay, so this is very, very important, children. So we have learnt about the orbital magnetic moment, that is mu L is the orbital magnetic moment, and similarly I told you that L is the magnitude of angular momentum, mu L orbital magnetic moment. Actually, besides the orbital moment, the electron has an intrinsic magnetic moment. One more is which is spin magnetic moment. Okay, so even we can learn the microscopic roots of magnetism in iron and other materials can also be studied with the help of this intrinsic spin magnetic moment. And okay, so hope you all of you understood how the magnetic dipole moment of a revolving electron, which helps us to study in microscopic level. Hope you enjoyed this class, children. Thank you.